Hello, this is videomokykla Informal Lithuanian video series, and this is our lesson number 10. We will learn another expression, another word for the English word to cry. Well, to cry in Lithuanian is verkti, verkia, verkė. Verkti, verkia, verkė. And it's used often. However, there's another verb, such an informal verb. I'm not sure about the origin of this word. It may be derived from the sound. Perhaps this is the onomatopoeic or some kind of other verb that comes from the sound, just like žvengti means to neigh for a horse or to laugh in informal context. So the same as žvengti, to laugh or to neigh, is made from the sound. Perhaps it's made with in a similar manner with this verb, or it can be some kind of other word from some kind of literature, old literature, or some dialects, and I'm not really sure where's this word from. So let's see this word. Žliumbti, žliumbė, žliumbė. Žliumbti, žliumbė, žliumbė. Žliumbti, žliumbė, žliumbė. Then again, you'll ask, what about the pronunciation of this letter? Well, as I've said in some other videos, I don't remember where, usually Lithuanian verbs have an uniform writing system in all those three basic verb forms. So, if the present tense and the past tense, the second and the third basic verb forms, have the letter B and the sound B, žliumbė, žliumbė, then it will remain in the infinitive, although the sound B before T is somehow reduced to P. So žliumbti, žliumbti, you're not actually pronouncing B, you're pronouncing P. So instead of žliumbti, you're pronouncing it žliumbti, žliumbti. And the P is even hard to hear. You can even say žliumbti, žliumbti. It's hard to notice the P. So as I've said, the verbs have a uniform writing system, and the infinitive has the letter that's in the past and the present tenses, even though the sound may change because the consonant T follows. So that's it for this note. And there's another verb related to this one, žliumbti, žliumbė, žliumbė, is with the prefix up, and it's a reflexive verb. And I must say that like with those other verbs, for example, fotografuoti, nufotografuoti, to take a photo, imperfective and perfective, the slang verb fotkinti follows the same pattern for the perfective verb nusifotkinti or nufotkinti, just like nufotografuoti. And the same way, if you want to say to start to cry in Lithuanian, you have to say apsiverkti, apsiverkė, apsiverkė. Apsiverkti, apsiverkė, apsiverkė. You do the perfective verb in the same way. You add up and sim, since it will be a reflexive verb. So in a similar manner with this verb, it's also made the same way. Apsižliumbti, apsižliumbė, apsižliumbė. Apsižliumbti, apsižliumbė, apsižliumbė. To start to cry. Well, to get, we can translate it as to get all teary. Well, to I don't know how to translate it more literally, but you know, up when you up is used when you are filled with something. Well, not filled, but you get in touch with something. For example, apsipilti means to for example, aš apsipyliau vandeniu. to get water on someone. You know, apipilti means to pour water on something, and apsipilti means to, you know, to get water on yourself. You know, when you're accidentally pouring water over yourself. So it's just like getting teary, or getting tears on yourself, something like this. It's something with a literal meaning. Up is used when you're covered in some liquid, or some kind of material. So enough about those literal meanings, and now let's see the sentence example. Ko čia žliumbi? 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 Why are you crying here? Again, here is before the verb ko čia žliumbi. Ko means, ko is the genitive of kas, who or what, and we use genitive sometimes to say why. Just like with the purpose of an action, we can use kam, the dative case of kas. Kam, we use it. Kam čia žliumbi. Well, it's not usable with this verb, but kam is the dative of kas, is used to express to ask about the purpose, the aim. And ko is about the reason. The genitive is about the reason. So, although it's used in informal context, but still kam is for aim and purpose, and ko is about the reason that was before the moment of speaking. So ko means why. It's the genitive of kas. Ko čia žliumbi? Why here you're crying? Literally. Ko čia žliumbi? Ko čia žliumbi? Once more, ko čia žliumbi? And I must say that this verb can be pretty rude in some contexts. It can be disparaging in some contexts, since, well, this verb is used by children, since they cry often, and this verb isn't used when you're just talking normally. You know, well, of course, it's informal Lithuanian, and you can still hear it, but when people say žliumbti or apsižliumbė, she started crying, well, it may be a bit disparaging. It may be a bit, impolite. Although, if you're speaking about your own child, who's only 1 year old, it's perfectly normal. But although this verb contains within itself this unpolite connotation within, you have to be careful about using this verb. So let's just see those examples, and you'll recognize those words when you'll hear them in someone's speech. Jinai apsižliumbė. Jinai apsižliumbė. Jinai apsižliumbė. Jinai apsižliumbė. Jinai apsižliumbė. She started crying. Again, it's a little bit humiliating. It's a bit a humiliating verb. It can be so. It may be a bit rude to talk about someone who, when someone started crying, you say, jinai apsižliumbė. Well, it's a bit rude, you know. But if it's a child, well, you can say this. Tie vaikai, those kids, vėl, again, žliumbė, are crying. Tie vaikai vėl žliumbė. Those kids are crying again. You see, the word again is before the verb. Tie vaikai vėl žliumbė. You somehow have to remember this and memorize this when you want to say again. You can say it before the verb. So, tie vaikai vėl žliumbė. Tie vaikai vėl žliumbė. You you can memorize it. So whenever you use it, this vowel again, it will be easier to use if you know that it's before the verb. Tie vaikai vėl žliumbia. Tie vaikai vėl žliumbia. Tie vaikai vėl žliumbia. Once again. Tie vaikai vėl žliumbia. Tie vaikai vėl žliumbia. That was it for this lesson. Ačiū, kad žiūrite. Thanks for watching.